Hello and welcome. Today we're taking a look at the Chanel holiday collection. So there are a ton of products that are coming out for Chanel holiday. Right now, items are available at Chanel boutiques. I purchased mine from the Aventura boutique. My BA or beauty assistant is Paloma. So I'll leave her information down below. These items will be available online, but not for a few weeks. So I picked up everything in holiday except for one lipstick and one eyeliner. So we have a lot to go through, which means we actually have too many items to fit in one video. So today we're going to be focusing on kind of what I'm considering the classic Chanel holiday collection with the quad, the blush lighters, the lips, and so forth. And then we also have the special 9-pan palettes. So we're going to swatch everything in this video. So all swatches will be in this video. You have the opportunity to tag me or, well, write down in the comments, any requests for comparisons. If I have them, I will do my best to include them. But we'll be going over, looks and things like that with the 9-pan palettes in separate videos. So these are the 9 pans. And I really want you to see what they look like on video versus, a still picture, because you don't see the beauty in the still pictures, in the flat pictures. There's so much shimmer. There's kind of like these opalescent shimmers on top of many of the shades. So we're going to take a look at all of the shadows. And you know what? Let's start off with swatching. We'll swatch the 9 pans first. Now, before we start with the swatching, though, I do want to share the nail polishes. There are 2 nail polishes in this collection. We have 371 Cosmique, which you can see is a deep, dusty purple, like a dusky purple that is going to be more of a flat shade. So that is the shade here. And this is 2 coats, no base coat, no top coat. It's a bit messy because, I kind of started doing this before it was fully set. So I apologize for that. But the other shade here is this shimmery orange. And it doesn't have shimmer per se, but it has like a sheen. So this one here, I think this is a great shade. For me, I bought it specifically for toes, but this is 369 Alchemiste. So these are the 2 shades in the Chanel holiday nail polishes, and I think they are very nice. So you'll see these as we're going through the video, and let's start off with swatching. While we're taking a look at the 9 pans, just packaging for them, they do come with a sleeve. We have all of the ingredients on the back. And then they actually have more of a gift box style box. This comes out. And then there is a little plastic protector. And it does not come with any eye utensils or anything like that. So let's start off with these. We're just going to go in order numerically. And I'm going to put them, 3 rows here so we can kind of just see all of them together. We're going to start off with 847, but first let me show you what the third palette looks like. All right, and this is the third one. So we're going to swatch all 3 of them, and we're going to go numerically. There's 847, 848, and 849. So this one here is 847. It's called the Daring Muse. And each one of these palettes was created by a different member of the collective. So again, I'm going to leave some space here so I can put the other ones next to it. So this here is our top row. You can see that this white shade here, it looks white in the pan, but you can see it has a bit more of a blue and pink reflect to it. Our first shade is going to be a soft, kind of a marigold gold, and then we have a more of a steel silver. Then we have a flat red shade here, and you can see this is going to be a soft red. There is a tiny bit of burgundy in there. And then this shade here, this green one, I've been dying to see this one. This is a shimmery green here. You can see it's emerald with a touch of teal. This is the blue. And you can see that there is a bit of sheerness to this one. You can see it is going to be a nice cobalt. We do have some different color shimmer in there, but the base on it is mostly transparent, but we have a little bit of gray in there. And then we have a flat terracotta shade. Again, we're with a shimmering champagne with a touch of gold. And then our last shade here is going to be a black with opalescent glitter. It's more of a silvery glitter, but you can see you definitely have some shimmer. So this one here is 847, the Dairy Muse. This is 848, the new Singular. And this one has the most matte shades. So we actually only have 2 shimmer shades in this one. So if you love mattes, this might be a good option for you. So I'm going to put this one, again, right adjacent to this. We start off with kind of this deep smoky purple. You can see it's similar to the nail polish. It's a little bit lighter, but we have those same hues. That one has some shimmer in there. Then we move on to kind of this like avocado green. This is going to be a flat matte. There's definitely some yellow in there. We have another shade that looks white here, but you can see it next to the white from 847. This is going to be less of a glitter. It's more of a satin sheen here. So it's not a flat per se, but it's not one of the shimmer shades either. And you can see as I move, sometimes you get this white, even a little bit of yellow in there, and sometimes you get that pink, depending on how the light's hitting it. This one here, beautiful, kind of minky brown, really gorgeous. This will be more of a taupe shade on warmer skin tones. We have a soft pink. Oh, let me fix that. All right, so here's our pink, and it's actually going to be a pinky peach. So it's a warm pink / peach. Then we have this bright lime with shimmer. And look at that. It's like an electric lime, lemon lime. You know, there's definitely yellow in there. Next, we have more of a pumpkin shade, kind of like a deeper pumpkin, almost a burnt pumpkin. We have a flat mint. And this mint, when you actually swipe it, it looks more minty here, but on my skin tone, you do see a little bit more yellow in it. It's not a blue mint. It's more of a warmer mint. And then we have a black, and this is a flat black. That shimmer is just left over from, I accidentally hit this swatch, but this is just going to be a flat black matte. So this here is 848. This is the one I was most excited for. This is 849, the Space Traveler. And look, you can see as I'm turning this, can you see the color shifting in the pans? I'm really excited to see how these swatch. So our top shade here, this is going to, you know, it looks green in the pan. It has kind of that green red shift, which actually turns more orange, more of a coppery orange. So it's almost like, you know, when you have copper that turns, you know, the true copper that turns green as it gets oxidized, it's like the opposite of that. So I think that's an interesting shade. This shade here, I've been dying to see this one. And you can see that is going to be a more of a pinky lavender with a little bit of blue flip in there. Let's just add a little bit more. It's going to be more of a light shade here, a little bit more sheer, but we definitely have blue shimmer in that. Now our white shade here, again, we're looking at a different flip here. This one is going to be more blue with a touch of green for the flip compared to the whites in 847 and 848. We have a matte. This is going to be a warm peach. There's a touch of brown in it, but it's like it's almost like a deep peach shade there. We have another bright cobalt blue, but you can see that this is going to be more of an electric blue. It's going to be more opaque than this blue here in 847. But let's see how the one right next to it compares. This is going to be super shimmery. And you can see this has a black base with a navy blue shimmer, essentially. Think of like a deep night sky, and that's really what you're getting with this one here. For our bottom row here, we have another terracotta. You can see this is similar to the terracotta shade in 847. This one is slightly more brown, but those two are very close to each other. Now we have a gold, but look, as soon as I kind of swatch it, you get this like fiery orange. So it's another one with a flip. And as the light hits it, you see gold, you see orange, and you see some pink. It's like a sunset. And you know, that's what you're getting. You see all three of those shades with the light hitting. Our last shade here is going to be another black matte. You can see that between the three palettes, our blacks are a little different. So we've got the more of a sheer black matte with silver sparkle. Then we have kind of a medium depth black matte. And then we have a true deeply pigmented black matte. So kind of like different levels of opacity there. We'll talk about all of these palettes separately in another video, and we'll do demos and so forth with those there. But I did want to include the swatches here, so it's kind of a one-stop shop for swatching. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the other items in the collection. But first, one other item we're not really featuring in this video is the eyeliner. So there are two liquid eyeliners in this collection, and one is more of a pink, and then we have this bright orange. And I feel like this goes very nicely with the 9pan palettes, but not so much with the items that we're going to be featuring today. So this one here is number 542. And you can see it's a really beautiful bright orange shade here. It matches our nail polish really well. So we'll take a look at this when we go over the 9pan palettes, but let's go ahead and move on to everything else, which we are going to cover today. Now, again, if you have any comparison requests, not only for the 9pans, but for the items that we're featuring here today, we'll go over those in an additional video. And this here is the Quad 397 Nuit Astrale. And I mean, it's stunning. You'll see it untouched up close in a few minutes when we get to the eye demos. All of these shades have a little bit of shimmer. Our most matte shade here is this third one, which is going to be a steel gray, but you can see it's still got a little bit of that satin hue to it. For our shades here, we have kind of a deep dusky purple with a lot of shimmer. You can see this is going to be a deeper one. We do have some silver shimmer in there. It's kind of like a lighter version of the nail polish. This is going to be a light blue, but there is a touch of green and a little bit of yellow in there. Not quite a gold, but you can see it kind of warms up that blue a little bit, so it's not super cool. This is going to be a light, more of a light version of a steel gray, but again, this is going to be a satin. It's a satin matte. And then we have a more of a true satin here in this light dusky purple, which has a little bit more blue. This is like a dusky wisteria. And this one definitely has more gray in it. It's going to be deeper in tone. So this is the palette we're going to feature today. We've got some eye swatches and some demos. Let's go ahead and flip over to that and talk about some product details. As you're looking at the eye swatches here, I'm using the Sonia G Soft Shader to show you a softer application of the eyeshadows. For a more pigmented look, I'm following that up with a fingertip application. And you can see that all four of these shades have a level of sheerness that make them something that you can easily pair on top of something else. So whether you are a cool tone shadow lover or somebody who just wants to dip your toe into it, you know, there's something for everyone here. So if you love the cool tones, you can either layer this on top of something deeper that's also cool in tone, such as some of the shades in the 9pans, or, you know, you can just kind of build these up or go with a light sheer look. But if you are somebody who prefers warmer tones and you just kind of want to dip into the cooler tones, these are sheer enough that you could add, you know, you could use warm eyeshadows underneath, and you can use these, you know, on top to kind of cool something off a little bit and dip your toe into it. So I really like that aspect of these. As for product details, The quad is made in Italy. We have 2 grams of product, an 18-month shelf life, and it does come with 2 single-ended foam tip applicators. I've been waiting for this quad to come out since I first saw a photo back towards the beginning of the year. I'm so excited to see this. I'm very happy that we've got some shimmer shades here, but we also have kind of that satin matte gray there to kind of balance it. And I really love the tones of these. So we've got kind of those dusky hues, but they're still more of a blue base purple versus a pink base purple, which I think is more flattering around the eye personally. And then this blue, you know, it actually looks more like a lighter, cooler cornflower blue in the pan, but when you actually put it on the skin, you see a little bit more of the like green and yellow that's kind of mixed in there. You've got some shimmer in there, but it's also kind of the undertone. So it warms it up a little bit and makes it more of a lighter sky blue. And I feel like being able to mix that with some of these shades here offers a nice balance of tones. Formula-wise, everything here applies beautifully. We have our traditional Chanel formulas. Nothing different or unique from recent palettes here. Now, for me personally, I love the actual color story of this, but I think, you know, one of the best features of this is the level of opacities for these. So as I was talking about how you can kind of put these on in a more sheer application, but you can build them up to something more opaque. And I think that's what's going to make this palette really versatile for more people. This is definitely a palette I'm looking forward to using throughout the season, throughout the year. Let's go ahead and do one quick comparison here. I did want to compare a previous Chanel palette. So this one here is 378 Du Sur et Serenité. Came out a couple of summers ago, and we kind of start off with this. Hold on, I think I have a little color contamination in my palette there, but we start off with kind of this beigey stone kind of shade here, and this, yeah, I cleaned my finger, so it's not coming from my finger here, but some of my gray pigment here next to it kind of transferred in. But we have kind of this beigey stone, and then we have a deeper gray, and you can see our gray here is going to be deeper than that of the new Nuit Astrale palette, and it's a little bit cooler in tone. We got a little bit more blue in here. It's more of a steel. And it's matte. So this palette in particular has more mattes. Then we have a nice purple here. Again, it's got some blue tones in there, but we also have pink tones in there, which you can see as that comes out. And then we have more of a pink here. So kind of like a deep rose. So this palette here is more of a mix of cool and warm tones versus this one being overall more cool. So there you go. And just so you can see again, our 9 pans. So we've got 847, 848, 849, and this one here is Nuit Astrale. Now, before I move on to the cheeks, I want to show you the mascara here. So this is in the Noir Allure formula. It's not my favorite formula from Chanel. I still prefer the Le Volume de Chanel, but I do love the packaging on these. And this is the one that they keep coming out with pretty colors in. So last year we had that beautiful like amethyst shade. We've had like a beautiful lilac. This one here is anthracite, and again, these are really kind of hard to swatch, the mascaras, but you can see that color-wise, it's going to match the nail polish. So let's go ahead and switch to a clip so you can see the mascara as it's applied. So this is the Noir Allure mascara in 77 anthracite. We have 6 grams of product. It's made in France, and there is the standard 6-month shelf life for mascaras. This is a really beautiful, deep, dusky purple mascara, and you know, it's neutral enough that it actually only provides a little bit of a tint of color. You know, it's still such a deep, kind of purpley gray shade that still looks pretty natural, and there's just kind of a glint of something a little bit unique, which I personally really love. You know, I think it just adds a little subtle nuance that, you know, can still go very professional, but it also can add a little bit of fun, and the color can be a little bit more emphasized depending on which eye makeup you're wearing and what colors you're coordinating with it. So I love the color of this. I still wish they would have put it in the Le Volume de Chanel formula because I just prefer that one. I prefer the brush on that a little bit more, but I think this is a beautiful color and no regrets purchasing this. Let's go ahead and take a look at our cheek products. All right, so I have removed the overspray. There is a shimmery overspray. You will see that, and you'll see me remove that in the demo in just a minute. But this one here is 997 Rose Lumiere. Now I'm trying to keep all of the swatches on so we can look at them again with the summary, but let's go ahead and take a look. So this, sometimes when the light hits it, it looks like it might be two different shades on the top and the bottom, but it's really not. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you this. So we got this light pink. Let me just go ahead and swatch the bottom pink as well, just so you can really see that that is all one shade. The white is such a small area that this is something that I would just wear mixed together, but the white is our illuminizing shade here. So these are considered illuminating blushes, but for most people, they're light enough that they're just gonna be a highlighter. If you mix the whole thing together, you're going to have a, a very, very light pink. It's also got a little bit of a cool tone to it, mostly because of the white there. When you separate the pink out, you can see it's going to be a little bit warmer. But when you mix them all together, you have a light, cool tone pink with a bit of a sheen. And the more you buff that in, the stronger the sheen is. But it is an illuminating blush. If you have fair skin, it is something you could wear as a blush, but you have to build it up. For most people, this is just going to be a straight up highlight. And I actually have both of the shades on my cheeks right now. We'll see that in just a minute. But I think it's a really beautiful color in general. This one here is 998 Peche Lumiere. And let's take a look at this one here. Put it right here. Let's get a little bit more of that. And then we have our white. You can see that the white is going to be a little bit of a warmer white compared to that in the pink. You can see it's a little bit brighter. It's more creamy. And here's our bottom peach. So you can see that they really are the same. When you mix them all together, this is what you get. It's a little bit deeper than the pink, but not by much. And again, the ivory shade in here, this white ivory, it softens, it adds the sheen, but in this case, it's not really a cool tone shade. It's pretty neutral, so it doesn't really alter the color too much. It just lightens it a little bit. So these are the blush Lumieres. Let's take a look at these on the skin. And in the demos here, I start off by removing the overspray, which is a beautiful glittery overspray. But I'm using an old Year of the Rabbit brush from Yoshiki. But I wanted to be sure during application that I didn't have any of that glitter overspray. You can see once that overspray is removed, it looks much more matte in the pan. And I'm using a Tancedo brush here for a light application. Then when I go in to build it up, I'm using a flat top brush from Yoshiki by Kyoto. And you can see you can really build that up and you see a lot more of the sheen. Now, if you really didn't want to see as much of the sheen, you could definitely just kind of isolate the blush colors. But I think for most people, they'll probably just mix it together based on the placement of the highlighting stripe and so forth. The illuminating powder blushes have 14 grams of product. They have an 18-month shelf life and they're made in Italy. They do come with a brush. I'll show you that in just a second. And there's a pouch for the brush as well as a pouch for the blush. Again, since these are so light, they work best more as a tinted highlighter. And they also work very nicely on the eyes to add a little emphasis or brightness and so forth. So those are some different uses for these. Again, we'll see these again in the 9-pan palette videos. So if you have any special requests for those, please make those down below in the comments. So here is the brush that comes with the blush lighter. So you can see we do have a curved shape here with a little bit more of a point at the top. It is fluffy and you can see that we have a gradation that narrows into the point from the front, and our back is going to be a little bit more straight. So this is our brush. And let's go ahead and move on to the lip products. So as I mentioned, I purchased everything from Holiday except for one lipstick, which was a red lipstick in the Rouge Allure Velvet formula, as well as the pink eyeliner. So this is our Rouge Allure Velvet in 548 Abstrait. And let's go ahead and take a look at this. I'm going to put the lipsticks here. And if you have a warmer skin tone, this is going to be a beautiful soft rose. If you have, I have neutral undertones with cool overtones, so things will look slightly warmer on me than they will on many people. And so this is going to be more of a warm rose on me. And what I really, really love though are the Laques this year. They are stunning. We have number 558 Incandescent, which both, by the way, both of these are going to be shimmery. And you can see this is a beautiful fuchsia pink with a little bit of a burgundy red in there to kind of tone it down so it's not like so neon. And then we have a more of a deep purple. Again, coordinates with the nail polish. It has a little bit more pink in it than the nail polish, which prevents it from looking like dead on the lips. The purple one is 559 Nebuleuse. Let's take a look at all the lip products on the lips. And right now I have a combination of both of the lip locks together, which you'll see at the end of our clips here. All of these products are limited edition. The Rouge Allure Velvet, I have shade 548 Abstrait, and you can see that our top has a little bit of an addition to the Chanel emblem for holiday here. So we have 3.5 grams of product, an 18-month shelf life, and these are made in France. And you can see that the Rouge Allure Velvet, which by the way is a really nice matte formula here, this is going to be more of a warm rose on me. When you build it up, you see a little bit more of that pink, but when you sheer it out, you see a little bit more of that peach. So our undertones on here are going to be a bit warmer, but once you kind of build that up, you see a little bit more of a cooler rose shade there. Again, if you have a warmer undertone, this will probably be a beautiful neutral rose on you. As for the Rouge Allure Laques, I feel like these are an underrated product from Chanel. I love the Rouge Allure Laques personally. We have 5.5 milliliters of product. They're made in France with an 18-month shelf life. And these are a beautiful liquid lipstick that I feel like the applicator on these makes them really easy to apply. It's even fine enough that you can line your lips with it. It's like a glossy stain type of formula. So you have that vinyl texture in there and you have that glossy sheen as you wear it throughout the day. You know, you'll lose a little bit of that luster, but you will have that stain remaining. So they're long wearing. They're not transfer proof or anything like that, but they are a long wearing product and I find them very comfortable. I think, yeah, again, I feel like they're an underrated product from Chanel. I love it when they come out with new shades. Unfortunately, the permanent line has a lot of warm tones. We've been seeing a lot more of the cooler tones in the limited edition collection. So let's go ahead. I've just got a couple of quick comparisons that I want to share for the lip products. All right, so I felt like last year for holiday, we had some really great lip products from Chanel. One of them here was Rouge Allure L'Extrait. And the one thing I hate about these is you have to pull them out to see our number. This was number 917 Rose Boreal. And I wanted to see how this compared to our pink in the lip lock. You can see it's warmer, but look when I build that up, how you have like that cooler tone shade there, and that's from all the shimmer. So if we put that right next to the Rose Abstrait, just one sheer layer, you can see that they both kind of have that peachy undertone to them. The Rose Boreal is cooler overall, but you can see that undertone wise we both have kind of that warm rose hue. Another one from last year, this is the Laque in 94 Crystal Pink, which it reminded me right away of this year. So I wanted to see how those compared. You can see that last year's is going to be a little bit of a lighter pink There's a little bit less red in there. And it is going to be a little bit cooler as well. And then recently we had a Rouge Allure Liquid Velvet in 236. This is on Sourcelant. This came out with the matte purple and green eyeshadow quad. You can see this is going to be a deeper purple. We do have some red in there, but you can see they're very different tones. We've got a lot more of that dusky hue in this year's Laque. And yeah, those are all of the swatches. Let's do a quick summary of everything that we have here. Don't forget to subscribe to notifications so you are aware when I post the next Chanel videos featuring the 9 pans and additional comparisons. But everything that we featured here today, let's just do an overview of the swatches. So texturally, these feel very similar to the quad. Some of the shimmer shades feel perhaps a little silkier, but we have number 847 here. This is going to be 848. And 849, and you can see that they all have some differences, but they all have some similarities as well. Then we have our quad in Nuit Astrale, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. I love this. I would love to see this be more of a permanent line here. And then we took a look at the orange eyeliner, but we're going to actually do a deeper look at this in the videos with the 9 pans. I like to use the liquid liners personally also as liquid eyeshadow. So if those shades appeal to you, that might be a good option. We have the mascara and anthracite, and we have our 2 blush shaders. So we have the Rose Lumiere and the Peche Lumiere, and you can see they're both going to be very, very light. So even though they are illuminating blushes, they're really more of a soft highlight. They will emphasize things really well, and there is an overspray on them when you get them, so just something to be aware. As for our lips, we have the Rouge Allure Velvet in Abstrait, and then we have our 2 Laques. In the pink one is 558 Incandescent, and we have 559 Nebuleuse for the purple. So that is, oh, and then our mascara and anthracite. So aside from that, we also took a look at the nail polish, although it is a bit messy here, but we have 2 nail polishes here, and we have the purple in 371 Cosmique, and the orange is 369 Alchemiste. And yeah, that's everything. So please, again, share any requests for comparisons down below in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in. As for the items that I featured here today, I have no regrets on anything that I've purchased. I'm really enjoying them so far. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching.